Hey guys, I thought I would hop on just to talk a little bit about ankle sprains, as a few people that I know have reached out to me about them recently because people have been doing more trail running or whatever, so more likely to develop an ankle sprain. The thing that I will say about ankle sprains is that in general, I feel like people don't take them seriously enough. Using myself as an example, I sprained my ankle maybe 10, 15 years ago, just stepping into a pothole in New York City, rolled my ankle, was able to walk on it, run home, but the next day it turned into like a golf ball. There was a pocket of swelling there. But it kind of went away in like a week or so, and I didn't really take it seriously. I didn't really think anything of it. But subsequently, a few months later, I developed like a left hip issue on the same side. I was starting to get pinching. I felt like my hip flexor was really tight. I wanted to stretch my hip flexor all the time. I was starting to develop symptoms of like femoral acetabular impingement. You might hear about that term, FAI. Or I was starting to suspect a labral tear. So I, didn't know that much at that time. I was really young. Yes, probably like 15. It might even have been like 20 years ago. But anyway, I've learned a lot more about running, and I've learned a lot more about physical therapy over the last 15, 20 years. And I was able to successfully rehab my own hip. But I trace back the hip issue to actually the ankle sprain. There are studies that show that ankle sprains actually decrease, or they make your glutes a little delayed. So the glute on that side, there's delayed activation of it after an ankle sprain. And the thing is, with an ankle injury, oftentimes you'll end up with a little lack of range of motion. And if you took my virtual Bulletproof Runner workshop, you'll understand that we had some tests for ankle dorsiflexion, that ankle range of motion, your ability of your shin to go over your foot, like kind of like when you're doing a calf stretch, okay? So if you don't have that mobility, you're gonna have to typically compensate from somewhere else. For me, it was my hip. Now, truthfully, hi Brea, hope you're doing well. Truthfully, I don't think it was so much the ankle range of motion that actually contributed to my hip impingement or hip issue. It was actually because the sprain, I tore a couple of ligaments there and it destabilized my ankle. We have things called proprioceptors in all our joints and in our muscles and tendons that kind of give your brain some information about how your foot's supposed to respond to the ground, right? So if those muscles are torn or those ligaments are torn, it's going to start giving you misinformation. It's going to give your brain misinformation about the ground, and then the brain tells the muscles what to do, and then the coordination is not quite as good. So if you've ever sprained your ankle and you try to stand on the one leg and maybe try to close your eyes, you'll quickly see that side typically has a little bit of a deficit and is more wobbly. You'll feel like your ankle wobbles more, your knee wobbles more, and in that way, your hip is also like turning in and out a little bit, right? So you can imagine if you take 10,000 steps in a 3 to 4 mile run or walk, how that might start to wreak havoc in another area. So that's my personal story of how my ankle sprain actually developed into a hip problem, but I've seen this countless times with other things, not just with running. I mean, I treated a CrossFitter who was developing a left hip impingement, or no, actually it was his right side. And it was because he had fractured his ankle many years ago and like forgot about it because it didn't hurt. But then he didn't have enough range of motion in his ankle. And so, hi Marisa. And so he had to compensate with his hip. If you don't have enough range of motion in your ankle, you're going to have to compensate from somewhere, right? So for him, he had to end up flexing his hip quite a bit more in order to get to that squat that he wanted. Hey, Al. And you'll see this often if you do squats as an exercise. You'll see the person really kind of like bow forward. They can't keep their trunk upright. And it looks like there's something wrong with their hips, but it's actually coming from their ankle. No, it's not that way in all cases. You have to tease that out. You have to do some form of assessment. And like I said, if you took that Bulletproof Runner workshop, you learned a few ways to assess yourself, right? And actually, there are a couple of correctives as well. Hey, Genny. So since you guys are hopped on, right? Have you guys sprained your ankle before? Just type in the comments, yes, I have, or no, I've never sprained my ankle. Right? And if you want, you can also tell me if you have pain in your ankle or anywhere else. Or if you know how to test, hi Tiana, if you know how to test for your ankle range of motion, tell me if you notice a difference between the side that you have sprained your ankle on versus the side that you haven't. Yes, a million times in a million different ways. Yeah, you know, that spoken like a true athlete. Like, I'm not sure what you used to do. I don't know if you played basketball or something, Brea. I don't remember exactly. But, you know, it happens a lot with basketball players and trail runners, or just, you know, people who are a little clumsy. But, you know, like for me, it happened on a little pothole. So, and my husband has sprained his ankles a million times from playing basketball. Oh, soccer, that was the other one. That's it. Yeah, lots of knee and ankle injuries in soccer for sure. Oh, good, Getty. I'm glad that that's helped you a bit, the workshop exercises. Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, we have some of those tests on YouTube as well, on our YouTube channel, but I'm happy to like post that one. I think I did post that one on Facebook. Just, it's basically you bring your knee towards the wall, trying to keep your heel down. But yeah, I mean, sometimes there's just old scar tissue around that outside ankle, and getting in there to work that out, and actually, you know, even mobilizing the fibula bone. Brea is a doctor, so she knows what I'm talking about. But you've got two bones down in your lower leg, the tibia and the fibula. And the fibula is actually, that's the outside bone. And that's actually where, let's see, can you guys see my ankle? Yeah, basically that's the outside of your ankle, right? So sometimes that bone can actually be displaced a little bit, and mobilizing it and actually taping it can help quite a bit with ankle mobility. In fact, that helped one of my knee patients with squatting at CrossFit. She was having a lot of knee pain. She had MRIs, blah, blah, blah. And then we mobilized her fibula back, but this was not down there. The fibula also attaches up here at the outside of the knee. That's where your IT band also attaches. And we mobilized that, we taped that, and now she can squat pain-free. So you can see just in that example, if someone sprains their ankle really badly and never gets that fibula placed back, I mean, we're talking millimeters of movement here, but millimeters of movement can wreak havoc on your body. I mean, just taping that back made a huge difference in her either having knee pain with squatting or having a pain-free squat. So, you know, just these little tweaks can make a big difference in how your body functions, right? So cool. I'm going to go and like cook dinner now, but thank you guys for tuning in. And, you know, feel free to ask me any questions. And if you want a specific topic covered, go ahead and request it. I will shoot a live, or I'll shoot a video, or I'll send you a YouTube clip or an exercise that I think might work for you. Thank you guys. I hope you're all staying healthy and enjoying the nice weather we're having before it rains again. Okay. Peace out.